So to start off, I'm just going to give it a second to get a couple more people hop on, but drop in the chat, what are your goals for March? How many people are you adding to your team, and what Success Club numbers are you pushing for? Just give it a couple more minutes here. But let's blow up the chat. All right, we will jump right in because we have a guest speaker tonight, which I'm super excited for. So make sure you hang around at the end. We're going to do our recognition and our announcements after Kelsey speaks, just to be cognizant of her time. But really excited for tonight. If you guys are in the Fearless Recruiting group, or you were in our last group that we just did, you know Kelsey, her face is familiar, but she is an absolute rock star. She has a podcast, which is all around mindset. So if you love what she's talking about on tonight's call, make sure that you go listen to her podcast and follow along. But she's another top coach in Canada. She hit elite for the first time last year, and I think she is either a 5-star diamond or 6-star diamond coach. But I'm really excited to hear from her tonight. She's going to be talking all about building your business beyond. And I think whether you are a brand new coach or someone who is a diamond coach, there's going to be so much value for you to take away in tonight's call. So make sure you have a piece of paper and a pen so you can actually act on these items after tonight's call, because it's one thing to get fired up on tonight's call, but it's another thing to take action from it. So make sure you are present and here and taking notes. And Kelsey, I will pass it over to you.
Hi guys. Oh my gosh, I'm loving this. For some reason, it didn't click to me to be like, Shauna and Shelby host these calls together. I don't know why. I just thought of this when I hopped on. I'm like, oh shit, I know everyone. I know people. So like this makes it so much more fun. I also, guys, just spilled my pre-workout like all over my desk. So I'm like frantically trying to like clean things. My blanket's soaked. But we're fine. We're rolling with this, and we're gonna have some fun throughout this call. So I'm not. I mean, I could quickly just introduce myself. I'm not gonna go too much into my story because I want to get to like the good stuff for you guys to take away. Will I be able to share my screen, Shelby?
Yeah, Shauna should be able to send you off.
But in the meantime, for those who don't know me, my name's Kelsey Fish. I have been coaching for 3 years now, 3 years, February, literally. So I have been a full-time coach for 1 whole year, but it definitely never started that way. I have a background in psychology. Okay, cool. Background in psychology, went to school for brain disorders, landed my dream job in a children's hospital as a research coordinator. And so I was like living the dream. I did what, quote unquote, the path was to do, went to school, got the degree, got the job, and like that was it. And in my job, there was really no more room for growth unless I wanted to go back to school. And I really just didn't want to do that. It wasn't something that like got me excited. So I continued to do my job for a little bit, went through a bunch of different seasons of life. And I quickly got burnt out at my job, and I was starting to just notice that I was just simply going through the motions. Like every single day was feeling like Groundhog Day, kind of like what it's feeling like right now in a pandemic, but I know this will get better. But it kind of hit a point where I was like, Kelsey, if you're thinking of your life 5 years from now and you're still in the same position, does that make you happy? Does that fill your cup? Does that make you giddy inside? And it wasn't something that got me excited. And in fact, it gave me so much anxiety. I actually started to deal with a lot of anxiety and heart palpitations and panic attacks. And this was a lot of things related to my lifestyle and what I was doing. And so I knew things needed to change. And so I was coaching on the side. It was always something that was my outlet. Guys, I have never once said that coaching is something that like it's adding to my plate and I don't have time to work on coaching because it's truly the thing to me that I get to come home to and be like, oh my goodness, I get to check in with my girls. I get to hop on a call like this. And it just like brings me so much joy and passion and purpose to be able to do that. And so I started to share these things, right? I started to share more and more about what this was doing and how this was my outlet rather than something I was adding to my plate and rather than something that was taking up all this time, because it's truly wasn't. Like when you are intentional with your time in this business and doing the main things to move your business forward, which I'll talk about, this business does not take a lot of time, right? It's a lot of hard work within the time that you are using. But ultimately, if you're focused more on creating your content versus consuming and actually doing the main things like inviting, following up, connecting, this business can be so fun in only like an hour a day. So I basically leaned more and more into that and eventually actually took it part-time. I ended up moving pretty far away and I was commuting like 2 hours to work, 2 hours home. That eventually became very, very draining to me. It wasn't something I wanted to be doing for the rest of my life. I was trying to just figure out life in general, like trying to get a house. I was living in a trailer at the time. Life was pretty hectic. And I eventually kind of got to a point where like my back was up against a wall. And so I took this full time. And it's been a crazy year because who knew there would be a pandemic happening? But there was a lot of shifts that happened within that past year where I really took this business beyond. And that's exactly what I want to talk to you guys tonight about, because I think that these main things are so important to be able to move further in your business where you might feel that you're stuck right now, right? Type in the comments if you ever feel like you're just stuck. You're doing the things and you're it's like you're running on a hamster wheel and you're like you can't go any further, or you're like, what is this person doing that I'm not doing? Like I don't understand. I would like look at all the top coaches and be like, I am sending so many invites every day. Nothing's happening. Like, what else can I be doing right now? So, these are really the main things that I took to take my business from a point of being so unsure and like doubting myself for what I'm doing to a point of like, this is what I'm meant to be doing. I have such an incredible gift to give to other people. And I truly stepped into that leadership position. And also to give you guys kind of like some insight on where I was a year ago. I was sitting as like a shaky 1-star diamond. I actually met Shelby and Shauna at NLC last year. I was like, I need to be best friends with these girls. Let me go talk to them. But I basically was a shaky 1-star and came home from NLC. And that's when things really, really started to shift for me because I decided, you know what, enough's enough. I'm going to start doing the main things times 10 and really give it my all in this business, really make the shifts that I need to make in order to go beyond. And within those like 4 to 5 months, between when I got home from NLC in February to June, we were a 6-star team, which is so crazy. We locked in elite in August and it was just the most wild year. But that's just kind of to give you guys some perspective that anything can happen, especially if you're sitting at a point in your business right now where you're like, you know what, I had these big scary goals for January 1st and it's March 1st and nothing's changed. Okay, so much can still happen if you just keep going. So what I did, number one, is I created undoubtable consistency. So something that I do every single day is I show up, right? I show up when the excuses hit. I show up when I have a lot of things going on in my life. I show up when, you know, everything's being thrown at me. I am consistently showing up. That is like your superpower in this business. And that's why the people who will watch you for years and years will finally come around and say, hey, I'm ready to join you. I'm ready to hop in. Something I put here is, do you create roller coaster consistency or train consistency? AKA, does your business go like this? You're like, some weeks you're like, all right, I'm rocking it, crushing it. Other weeks you're like, damn, I got to pick my shit up, right? You want to have that train consistency where you're always doing the main things every single day. I always say no successful coach has a roller coaster coaching experience, right? They're just like, they're going. Of course, you're going to have your days, and that's normal because we're human, but we're always making sure we're still doing the main things. Something that I always have to do is like evaluate myself, look at my week, and that might bring some pain or disappointment or lack of motivation, most certainly. But I have to be like, okay, this is what I need to do in order to change, right? I had big goals for end of quarter one. So, what do I need to evaluate right now so I can shift, and what can I spend more time on? The diamond mindset, it is a starting point and not a destination. So I truly believe that diamond is simply just a stepping stone. I believe there are a lot of like mile markers in this business, and diamond is just that first mile marker. And something I've really kind of focused on shifting my team's mindset about is getting to 2-star and 5-star, right? That 2-star mindset is everything. That's when you can really start to tap into income potential and start to really, really grow your business. Because, guys, your income does not change at diamond. It does not. You don't get like massively bigger paychecks. It's simply just a way to show yourself, okay, I can be a leader, I can build a team, and I can achieve these goals, right? But hopefully getting you to think, diamond and beyond, not just getting to diamond and being like, whoo, did it, take my foot off the gas. Hopefully you can realize the impact in the income opportunity that's going to come from diamond and beyond, from getting to 2-star. I think that's when your business like really starts. Your business definitely opens at diamond because you're seeing different compensation opportunities. But I am a firm believer that this business, we should all be shooting for 2-star beyond. I'm also always learning, guys. I am listening to trainings 24/7. I actually hired a mindset mentor last year because I was like, okay, something needs to change. I need to shift this. I need to I was feeling I was doing all the things. And what I really started to lean more and more into, not just the minimum, like 10 minutes reading my book to post a photo on social media and be like, check, did my personal development. I actually started to implement things in my life to shift my mindset and to work on the inner stuff so that I can move, right? We got to remove all that inner gunk in order for us to build on it. It's almost like building a house, right? You got to fix the cracks of the foundation before you can build on it. It's the same with your business. Your business is going to be very shaky if you enter a qualification period and your mindset's not right, right? Your team's going to feel that and it's not going to be any fun. I also would always, always, always like podcasts in the car on my commutes to work. You guys better bet I was filling my mind with success stories the entire time. I am like cooking, always listening to a podcast or an audiobook. All of this stuff, guys, basically like started to rewire my brain into beliefs and new stories that I would tell myself. So often we're like, oh my goodness, I can never get here, or I'm never going to get to where this person is, or this person was moving faster than I am. And it quite literally becomes a story that you tell yourself, and you start to believe that it becomes your truth. And so when we can take that away from it by diving deeper into personal development, by, hopping on these calls and not just listening and getting hyped up, but doing something differently, like waking up tomorrow, doing something differently than you did today, that's when the shift can actually change. Treating the business like a business. So, number one, I want you guys to ask yourself, when is your separation time? And what I mean by this is that in this business, you have to be doing more than just the bare minimum if you're trying to build a business. And I'm assuming you're all here because that is what you want to do. And so I say this all the time. Shauna and Shelby have heard this before, but if I showcase your week as a coach on this call with if I showcased your call from the past week with the entire network, would you be proud of that? Are you creating that undoubtable consistency in your own business? Or maybe did you just show up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then say, see you later until Sunday, and then have to catch up again, right? Is your separation time in the mornings? Is it evenings? Is it weekends? Is it lunches? Is it, instead of Netflix all night? When is that time for you? So for me, my separation time, especially when I worked full time, was my mornings, and it still is. And my weekends, I really utilized my Saturday mornings, my Sundays were for planning. And that was the only time I really had to like separate and dive deeper into my business to push it forward. So that's what I did. Was it easy? Hell freaking no. But if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. You have to make this business work for you and figure out the times that this business where you can give it
Yeah.
100% of your time. Make sure you guys are muted, guys.
No, she's been here before and she's always late and she's like a talker.
Is
She will keep you forever if you let her. She
okay, I think I had control over it. Where was I? Separation time, making this business work for you. Keeping a vision, guys. How many times have you guys thought like, I have this huge, huge, huge vision, or I have this big goal, I have this whatever, but then you're like, but I don't think it could actually happen to me. Like, that'd be nice, it'd be great. So then we hold ourselves back. If you actually believe your goals, if you actually speak them out every single day, you're writing them out every single day, you're going to start to believe that you can do those things every single day. So ask yourself, like, what's your vision for life, right? Those are the things that keep you going, not just the like, okay, I want to hit Success Club. What's your vision for life? Connecting it to more of a personal vision for yourself and really getting deeper and diving into that why for yourself. Something I do when my new coaches come in and they're like, oh, I really want to help people. That's amazing. I think that as humans, we all desire to want to help people and add value to people's lives. But what else is it for you? Is it money? Is it time? Get deeper with that stuff, right? Because when things get hard and when you don't feel like showing up and you feel like you fell off track and you feel like you just like hit this, you're stuck, it's going to be those personal things to help you keep the belief. It's kind of like, I always say it's like parenting when, something doesn't go right with your kids. You don't just go, okay, well, like, I don't have kids, but I'm using this as an example because I'm assuming this doesn't happen. You don't just go, okay, well, like, see you later. Good luck. I'm done with this because, like, I can't. It's too hard. See you later. No, you figure it out. You figure out the different resources you can use. You ask for help. You figure out how you can dig deeper because you can't give up on that, right? Why is this business different than anything else? We have to be in it for the long run, right? When you feel like you're not seeing success, I need you to go back to why you're doing this in the first place, okay? And of course, failing forward, I always say too that if you guys get so good, so for example, when I have someone say like, oh, I feel so defeated and someone said no to me today, or like I've been getting ghosted a lot. I'm like, good. Your goal should be to get ghosted more or to have people say no to you more, because that means you're doing more than just the regular person. It's like for myself, for Shauna, for Shelby, getting a no is like no big deal. It's like, okay, on to the next. Like that doesn't even faze me anymore because I've got so good at failing and getting no's and getting see you laters or maybe laters that that's just like something that I've become good at. I've become good at accepting that, right? So get so good at failing that you're ultimately the best at that stuff rather than letting it be like, oh, well, shit, I got to throw in the towel because I'm going to lose hope. No one's interested this month. And that's it. Right. And then creating over consuming. So this was something I also made a shift. Guys, stop touching your phone first thing in the morning. Please, please, please. I know we're human and it happens sometimes, but the second you dive in to see what everyone else is doing before you've even got out of your bed and put your feet on the ground, it's like Jay Shetty says, it's like inviting 100 strangers into your room, chatty strangers, before you've even brushed your teeth. How overwhelming is that? And how do you expect yourself to go start creating now after that? I promise you guys, when you do this for yourself, when you dive into your personal development first thing, when you tap into yourself first thing, shifts are going to happen in your business. I also wanted to share this quote. This was from NLC last year from Melanie Mitro. And she said, I recognized that my current business wasn't going to get me to where I wanted to be. So I had to push myself to grow even before I felt qualified or ready. And this was something that really stood out to me because I think I was waiting for, I think I shared this with you guys before, and when I talked to Shelby's call. Anyways, this was something that stood out to me because I was always waiting until I felt qualified to be an elite coach, right? I was like, oh, well, I'll start acting like an elite coach when I feel like I'm qualified to be one. But how do you expect to show up as the coach you're trying to be if you don't actually give yourself permission to start doing that already, right? If you want to be a diamond coach, are you showing up like a diamond coach right now? You must be out of your comfort zone in order to achieve greatness. The other thing I did to become an elite team was, again, this is going off my last point, I started to act like an elite team. So you hear all the time, like, how do you find business builders? That's the magic question in this business, is how to find business builders. And what I want you guys to shift to ask yourself is just asking yourself every day, how can I provide value, right? How, rather than looking for what can people do for me and when can my next business builder come help me hit elite, ask yourself, what can I do for them today? Who can I help today? My job is to serve other people and to help them with their goals. And so if you go into the world with that attitude, it's game changing. So stop looking for people to run the business for you and ask yourself what you can do for them, right? Not what can they do for me and my business, what can I do? I was really trying to like recruit everyone and make everyone see success. And I was getting frustrated when other people didn't want it as bad as me. But what I recognize, guys, and what I want to remind you is that not everyone desires to grow. Relatively few people actually want to make a difference in this business. And the people who don't want to make a difference aren't your people, okay? These are actually examples of me speaking to like my person. So I show up on social media a lot and on my stories, and I speak with my face, guys, on video about who I want on my team. I speak to people by sharing that I'm an Enneagram 3. I love an IPA and chicken wings and nachos. I would die to be able to just go to a pub right now and have a draft beer. I love loving on others. I'm a natural doer, right? That's the Enneagram 3. You're just like a natural doer. You love achievement. You love like achieving those next goals. I share that it takes a lot of work. Guys, I'm always sharing when I'm working, what I'm doing. I don't sugarcoat this business. It really hit me one time when my grandparents, I was sitting with them like last summer, and they were like, you work a lot. Like, when do you take a break? And I'm like, okay, so it's working. Like, I'm showing people that it's not easy, because if you're doing that, if you're not showing the actual, like, I don't want to say grind because I don't even like that word. But like the work it takes for this business, the unsexy stuff, you're going to get coaches that come in and expect to just like post a workout clip on social media and see success. And it doesn't happen like that. So I show up and I share these things. I show the unsexy. I show up excited for who I'm looking for, not just like, hey guys, I'm running a new coach mentorship. No one knows what that means. Tell people what a mentorship is, what they're going to expect, what they're going to learn, and act as if you're already this leader, right? Last year I showed up and I just showed up as if I was an elite team before I was actually an elite team. I spoke that I already had this amazing, incredible, massive team. I spoke about how I'm a leader and stepping into a leader, and how my team's crushing it, and how I'm a leader of leaders, until eventually that's who I stepped into. And so some other things I look for when I'm kind of looking for like my leaders, my people, people that are self-motivated, people who are already committed to like and starting to work on their personal growth. Definitely not a requirement, because I came into this business being like, I don't need to work on myself. I'm fine. I'm going to crush this. And then I hit all those doubts and those fears and those insecurities and the fear of judgment. And I was like, okay, let me just grab my stack of personal development books now and dive into all of these. Do they add value to me, right? Do these people make me want to level up? Do they excite me? Do they influence other people? Do they have potential to grow and develop? Like, are they excited about that? That is the type of person that I'm looking for, and I'm not afraid to share those things on social media. And then the last thing here, wanted to just share some like tips that I did to get to Star Diamond and beyond. Number one, I created chat pods. And so I always say when you create an environment of success, you create successful people. And these were something that I know worked for Shelby and Shauna last year as well. Something that really worked for my team last year. It's kind of like on and off this year. I definitely still use them. But guys, the second that someone makes moves in those groups and they're like, I got a new challenger, or I'm this many people away from diamond, or, you feed off each other's energy, and that breeds an environment of success for other people. There's a reason Carl Deichler is so successful, because I guarantee you he has like a binder this big of results from people, and other people want to be part of that, right? So I definitely implemented push to emerald, almost there to diamond chats, but I would post things like how to hit emerald, my tips on anything social media related, posting links for team calls, asking them what their team call takeaways were. Like during team calls, we're blowing up chats. We're like implementing this. It could be miracle morning themed. So it could be like, hey guys, who's up? Like, come on, let's get out of bed kind of thing. I also did a few Dash to Diamond groups. I know you guys, Shelby and Shauna did this as well. That was really, really helpful for my team because, again, we gave them tangible things and trainings to help them see success. And some people just, really feed off those things. But I also really encourage you to ask your coaches more one-on-one what motivates them, because the way that I speak to someone who's motivated by chat pods but maybe not motivated by big groups, I know I have to check in with them more one-on-one than just being like, okay, I tagged everyone in the group or in the team page today. Like that's not something that motivates them. So I always have to make sure that I'm checking in more one-on-one with those people. This is why I also love knowing my girls' Enneagram numbers. Like I know all of them. I know what they're motivated by. I know what they do, the different like behaviors they do when they're overwhelmed. I know how to check in with them when I know their heart's not right. And so that's something I love doing with my girls as well. I also casted my goals with my team. If your goal is to be a 2-star premier team or a 5-star elite team, does your team know that? Right? I didn't even really, this was a graphic I made last year, beginning of the year before, again, shaky 1-star. A lot of these girls aren't even coaching anymore. But I was like, I don't even know how I'm going to get there. I don't really truly understand all the details, but I'm going to put this out there because I know I want to be an elite team and I want people to know this is my vision. And so I put this out there. I said, this is what we need. And if anyone's in, like, let's go run and do this together. Anyone else who wants to be part of it, let's go do it. And that's exactly what happened. I casted it. I talked about it. I did like little updates on it, who's close to diamond every single week. And that was something that motivated the heck out of them because they were like, I want to be an elite team. Like, let's all be an elite team. And so make sure you're casting that with your team. And I also always stress to my girls to host coach sneak peek. So I'm probably a freak with these guys because I host them more often than not. I host them like every other week. And I just think they're really important to be able to show people the coach opportunity, right? We're so much more than just like shakes and nutrition. There's an entire opportunity behind this that I want to boldly share with everyone. And that just brings me so much joy. And so I talk about it. I talk about it all the time. I piece in coaching to my daily life, like however I can. And I want to be able to share this with other people. And that's how I had so many new coaches last year. rank advanced to Emerald. I came home from NLC and I was like, I need to talk about coaching more, right? I need to set myself up for success by giving myself opportunities to talk about it. If I didn't have sneak peeks, I wouldn't have anything to invite to. I wouldn't have coaching to invite to. So I set myself up for those. So yeah, that's a little bit what I did to get to my Star Diamond journey. Hopefully some of those things were helpful for you guys, but that's pretty much all I have. If you guys have any questions about anything, I would be happy to share. Do you mind telling us who you hired? I worked with Chris Downing. He has a mindset course called Power of I Am, and he was game changing.
This was so awesome. I think sometimes it's so easy to get caught up on that like short-term vision when even if you're a new coach, everything that Kelsey talked about, you can take note of to keep for that long-term vision, right? Because if you're taking 30 minutes, an hour out of your time tonight to be here, we know you want to build a business, right? So hang on to these takeaways. There were so many awesome nuggets. Feel free to drop any questions in the chat, or if anyone wants to unmute themselves and ask, you can absolutely do that as well. I'll just give you a minute to think about it.
Yay, I'm so glad it was helpful, guys.
Everybody's so quiet.
I know.
I loved
Hopefully
all
you
of
guys-
that. Like everything you said, I was like, that's exactly what helped our team. And I really liked how you talked about the chat pods and like everyone should be participating in it because that's how you're going to get the most out of it. So I totally agree with that.
Yes, yes. You always, your energy always comes from where you put it, guys. So, if you're putting it into your team's going to give that energy. But if you're like, you know what? Oh, I just don't have energy to do this because they're not giving me anything, then they're not going to give you that energy, right? So always remember that.
And I think too, if you're like even a new coach on this call, to apply these principles to how you show up to our team, right? Like if you don't have any personally sponsored working coaches yet, show up like you do, the same way Kelsey talked about showing up as if she was an elite coach before she was, showing up as if you are that emerald coach or that diamond coach, and putting in the energy to your coaches groups or your uplines chat pods, because that's how you're going to like create that energy for when you do have your own team.
Yeah. How do you find accounts to follow? So yeah, I do a lot of friends of friends, local accounts, small business shops that I like, small like restaurants near me. And if anyone I see like they're my person, I just like get lost in their followers or people who have liked their recent posts. I'll go through who's liked that and follow people through there. Something I've also been doing recently is I'm planning pandemic wedding right now, and we're planning to get married out in British Columbia in Tofino. And I've been going to like Tofino and just connecting with a lot of people who like might have got married there already, asking them for resources because I genuinely want to know. But also I'm finding a lot of like brides to be or brides that did get married there, and they're like my people and I'm loving talking to them. So it could be something like that where maybe you're a teacher or a nurse and you just start like connecting with other nurses like that. You can find people that are, your people in there. Yeah, I did that as well.
Any last questions? All right. Well, Kelsey, thank you so much for taking time tonight to chat with us. We are going to stay on and do recognition and shout outs. You're welcome to stay if you'd like, but everybody else, please stay on. We have a couple announcements to go over as well with a new month. So Shauna, I don't know if you want to kick it off.
Yep. I will. I wanted to just like share my screen of everyone that rocked it in February. Let me just get the SC board up. Okay, I might have to stop recording here.